Good morning, you guys. I hope that you're having a great day. It is a beautiful fall morning here, the kind where the sun is out, but there's a little bit of crispness in the air. Just a beautiful fall day. Today I'm going to be working on a little DIY project. I'm going to build a frame for my TV. Now, I don't have the frame TV, it's just a regular TV, but I think it would still be fun to build a little frame for it. And the purpose of this is so that it kind of looks more of like art and less like a TV. This is truly not necessary, but I just think it would be a fun little project to try. Really inexpensive and should be fairly simple, fingers crossed, and definitely way less expensive than the actual frames for TV and the frame TV. So that's the plan for today. The only thing that I do have a little bit of a question or hesitancy about is that the sensor for the remote is on the bottom. So I don't know how it's gonna work with that if it's covered. So we're gonna find out. Hopefully this is not a DIY fail, but let's get started and see what happens. The first step of this project is to take some measurements. Now, the measurements should be of the actual screen itself. We are not measuring including the bezel around the TV. We really want those measurements to just be kind of inside that bezel of just the screen. My measurements ended up being about 43¼ by 24¼ and these are the decorative pieces that I'm going to use to build my frame. You can pick out whichever style you like. You can do just simple wood without any designs on it, but I think this little almost ribbed, or it almost looks like a ribbon design, is going to be really pretty. And my plan is to stain mine, not paint them, but a little detail I think just gives something really pretty to add to your TV. A little trick that you didn't see was that when I'm making my cuts, I will actually label the back of the pieces, top, bottom, left, and right. And the purpose of that is so that I can kind of line up the pieces as I go to make sure I know exactly what part I am cutting. To secure the frame really well to the back, I am going to use these corner hinges and just put one on each corner of the frame. Alright, it looks alright. It looks okay. It has little fuzzies all over it though because I did this on my rug. So I'll have to get those out, and then I do have to do a little bit of work on the corners, just some light wood filling and a little bit of sanding where there was some fraying. But overall, I think it looks really good. What I do need to do before I do anything is kind of hold it up to the TV and just see if the measurements are correct. It should basically cover the bezel around the TV if everything was measured and cut correctly. So let's do that before we do anything else. right, I think for the moment I'm pretty much at a standstill. I did a little bit of wood filling work on the corners just to really try to make sure there's no major gaps. Although I will say I'm not worried about it being absolutely perfect, because if you know me, I tend to gravitate towards the old, maybe slightly chippy or broken pieces, stuff that does not look perfectly brand new and factory made. So even if it's not perfect, it's not going to bother me. It is drying right now, so really until all of that wood filler and little bit of wood glue dries, there's nothing I can do. So I will probably see you tomorrow, where we'll keep working on this project. All right, it is a new day. We're in my kitchen and we're ready to just sand those corners that I did a little wood filler in, and then we are ready to stain the frame.
You could see yourself, you're sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed, you know.
For this project, I am using a gel stain. I just think it covers a lot better and makes for a deeper color. I really wanted my frame to be a deep brown color.
And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow.
Now that I have the entire frame stained, I'm just going to go ahead and give this 2 full days to dry before I come back to work on it again. All right, we are at the final step of our project, which is just to add some elastic to the back of the frame. That is how we are going to adhere it to the TV. You want your elastic to be a little bit taut so that way it actually stays on the TV. You want to make sure it's not too loose, otherwise your frame is just going to sag or slide down, and that is not what we want. So I'm just going to use some elastic and my staple gun for this step. In total, this project cost me about $20 to $25. The trim pieces cost me about $17. I believe the elastic was about $3, and then the hinges I also had to buy that were about $4 to $5. So about $25 total for this project. I did already have the stain and my staple gun, so those weren't a charge for me. You can use other means of adhering your elastic if you don't have a staple gun, but all in all, this is a really inexpensive way to get that look of the frame TV without having to spend all the money for one. So let's go ahead, get this elastic on, and we'll show you how this turned out. Now, of course, you can't see this because of my excellent filming skills, but essentially what I'm doing is laying down the elastic and just using my staple gun to put a few staples in it. Again, you want to make sure that this elastic is a bit taut. You don't want it to be too loose. I will then just cut off the bottom piece and again use my staple gun to adhere it to the back of the frame. It's important to consider the back of your TV when you're doing this step. If there is anything that your elastic is going to need to slide over, you want to make sure that the elastic will be able to fit over it. This was honestly the most challenging part of this whole project. My elastic strips are fairly close together, so there's not a lot of wiggle room to slide them over both sides of the TV. So this did take a little patience and finesse getting the elastic parts around the TV. My TV is also on kind of a swivel that allows you to move the TV from left to right, so it was also difficult trying to get the frame on without moving the TV. Okay, before we leave today, and I'm sorry if you can hear the cars, I have the windows open, I wanted to tell you that the TV remote still works totally normal. I don't know how because the sensor is covered, but it's still, you can see I'm like flicking through things. It still totally works just fine. So that is the answer to that. At least my TV still works normally. So I just wanted you to know that the frame does not seem to impair the sensor. It still is able to work with the remote. So that is it for today. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you'd like to see more from me, you can subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you guys for the next video. Take care of yourself in the meantime. Bye guys.